Do you know that guy Zen, Karl? You know?
We are now live, I think. Okay, Michael should be audible again.
Hello, can you hear me now? Ramming out.
Oh, whoa. The Russian spam bots are in already.
The Russians love us, man.
Oh yeah, I mean they're all over us. So hope everyone was okay. Michael Patterson is in the stream with me today. Hi, Mike.
Yep. Hello.
And hello to
Thanks for
everyone in
having
the chat. Zane, Tina, Russian spam bot, and
Yep.
Charlene. How are you guys
Hi,
doing?
Russian spam bot. Welcome to the stream.
So we were talking a bit before the stream started and you know, planning a few builds and stuff.
Yep.
Hey, then Paint Stings. Hello. Talking about the guild build for this month, which will be hosted on Mike's channel this time.
Yep.
So my plan for today was to make a few wire trees for my build because I've got a rough idea of what I want to make. I'm still not 100% happy with how I want to make it. But for a woodland shrine, we'll definitely need trees, so I'm going with that today.
See, that's the hard thing about this build is I might actually have to resort to the wire trees as well, because doing a whole bunch of hot glue trees is just like, oh, don't really want to do that.
I mean, you could go for they could go for the pipe cleaner trees, but
I think maybe I might go for the pipe cleaner trees, the way Joe and Zane do, possibly.
Yeah, that's a nice way to do it. I've definitely ruled out the sculptor mode trees because they would not be dry by mid-February.
Sculptor mold trees?
Oh yeah, the one I did with my. 1 second, let me see if I can reach it.
I've not seen a sculptor mold tree before.
Of course you have.
Let's see who's out there. All the big names. Tina, Karl, you're out there.
Remember this one?
Zane. And Dean, aloha.
Tina Martins, I'm going to kill some plants again. It's okay. I mean, I kill plants all the time. Anytime I try to grow something. So.
Right. Okay. So you got it now. I'm looking at the wrong thing.
Yeah.
Oh, whoa. That's huge.
Yeah, it's.
I remember that one. Yeah, with the face in the front. I mean, that pretty much is a woodland shrine.
Pretty much, yeah. But we need to build something new, so can't really use this. But yeah, the problem.
I did get contacted by one person who said, I've already kind of built a woodland shrine thing. Is it okay if I enter these photographs? And I was just like, sure, because, we want people to participate. I think the more pictures in, the better. I don't know, I still haven't seen anyone put any photos into the group yet, but it's only been a couple of days, so.
Yeah, I mean, people are still getting started. So yeah, that's a great way of doing massive trees, but the problem with that is that it takes ages to dry. I remember
just realizing my camera's shaking.
Yeah, that doesn't look really. It kind of looks dodgy.
Yeah, just so you know what I'm doing, I'm actually just cutting a piece of wood.
So what are you building there?
I'm making. So I've got just some circular dowel rods, and I'm turning them into little square pillars to put into some Rohan houses.
Oh, nice.
I'm just making them out of wood because foam would just break. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and this is what I've got at the minute. It's probably something better to do it with, but I'm just using what I've got.
No, I think for that kind of use, as long as you're putting it on a base or something, that's you're not going to get anything more solid than that, unless you print them maybe or something. Yeah. I just have one question: why are you starting off with a round dowel?
Because that's what I've got.
Yeah, good answer.
Yeah, so it's like I could have probably gotten 1 centimeter square dowel, or however millimeters that is, probably about 7 millimeters. I could get that, but I've got a whole bag of these.
Yeah, I mean, use what you got, so that makes sense.
I'm just trying not to spend more money than I need to on the craft at the minute. You know what I mean? So also, I like doing things the ridiculously, stupidly hard way. You know?
Don't we all?
Yeah. Often make that mistake. So you were saying, right, so back to the guild build thing, you were saying that, right, you're going to build some trees, but you posted a photograph with a glowing rock, which I thought was really, really cool. So let's have a look at that.
So the glowing rock we had so far was this one. 1 second. Which is just a piece of cut-off foam with a groove at the back.
Yep.
So I didn't find any decently sized battery packs, so I've got this behemoth over here, and they only come in red. Okay.
That's pretty cool, though.
Yeah, what I think I might do is actually cut them off and cut off the connections and then rewire it, so I don't have to make the stone large enough to contain the whole battery pack.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was actually scavenged from a votive candle, so.
Does the
which I found
that's a touch overkill there.
Yeah, but what I found is that they have these fake plastic flames.
Yep.
Which might actually work well for a sci-fi build eventually. So that's going into my my bits box.
Very cool, man. Does the light flicker at all, or is it just
no? It's just it's either on or off, which is okay by me. I don't mind. I mean, at the end of the day, we're just going to be putting this up for photos. If I want to change the light later, I can do that. So one thing I'm trying to figure out right now is this how I'm going to build the rock, because one problem with this is that you need to have a space to put in the light.
Yep.
And to do that, at the moment I just glue together a bunch of pieces.
Do you have thicker XPS foam?
I do have thicker XPS foam, yeah.
Because I mean, I guess the problem is that you're looking for a space to put your battery.
Even just to pass up the light. But what I don't want to do is I don't know how visible they are, but I'm just going to show them up there first. You get these
the lines,
yeah, the joint lines, which will look they'll be really visible once once it's painted up. So I'd like to avoid that.
So, I mean, a way, if you do have a thicker piece of XPS foam, one way of doing it would be I don't know if you have one of those hot wire knives, that kind of thing that Zane uses to cut his terrain.
I don't, but what I do I have are some woodworking gouges, which should do the trick.
Oh yeah, that would do it. Yeah. Hollow out something a bit thicker, and then you don't have those lines.
What I also thought of using polystyrene cement to melt a hole, but the problem with it would definitely do it, but the problem is that you have no control over that.
Yeah.
Like you can put in a tiny drop and it will all the way through.
Yeah. Zane is saying, sue Michael. Why sue me? Sue me?
Yeah.
What did I do?
What did you do this time?
I don't know. Like, there's a long list of things, so it could be anything.
Zane Morgan Crafts. No, I don't like living in boxes. That's what a building is basically, Zane. It's like it's a people box. Oh,
I think it's because Dean has moved house recently and is currently unpacking all of his hobby stuff and setting up a new hobby space.
Oh, nice.
So he's already got like a painting hobby space upstairs, but now he's setting up a kit building location as well.
Nice.
Which is cool.
Actually, I think all my craft supplies and things have already taken over most of my apartment, so yeah.
I feel your pain, dude. And like, and the thing is, it doesn't get less, it just gets more.
Yeah, definitely to see about disposing some of the stuff eventually, because there's literally too much.
Yeah, there's so much stuff that I have that I know, like it's like, okay, I'm probably not going to use that for a very long time, but I might use it one day. And like, it's the day that you get rid of it is going to be the next day. You're going to want that stuff.
Yeah, it's the same thing with throwing away scraps. It's like, hey, this is a really good piece of stuff, whatever, the packaging, whatever.
Yep.
So yeah, actually, I had to do an exercise a few months ago, literally throughout. Yeah, I have had this for 5 years now. Am I really going to use it eventually?
Yeah.
So yeah.
Yeah. For me, it's like my dream is like, well, just like Dean, move to like I'm moving out of London at some point, move to the countryside where everything is like super cheap, and for the price of a place in London, you can get a nice place that has a big, massive garage shed kind of thing, kind of like what Colin has.
Yeah, and I
And
mean,
then,
from the places you showed us when you went on holiday, or that was Ireland, wasn't it?
yeah, exactly. And go back there,
Yeah, that
get
place is beautiful.
yeah, just get a like an easy run of the mill job that kind of pays the bills, and then have a place that's set up for awesome crafting all of the time. That's what I want to do.
Yeah, but
That does, and most importantly, that doesn't spill over into the kitchen, which is the biggest nightmare. Because
yeah, I think I think it was worse when you were working on the on our collaboration last year. Yeah, remember?
which, well, the thing
The
is that the next couple of builds that I'm working on are kind of going to be close to that size again.
who. Because I remember at some point you ended up needing to store the piece of Khazad-dûm in the bath, yeah?
In the bath, exactly. Well, this week I threw out. So my cat, who is let's say hello to the cat.
Hello, biscuit.
He is he's so lazy. Like we bought him this cat tree. You know what a cat tree is?
Yeah.
Like this huge big thing that sat in the corner of the room, and it basically he never used it. Like I think he might have used it a couple of times whenever he was a kitten, but we basically had this massive cat tree sitting in the corner of the room for years, and I dismantled it, and yeah, took it apart the other day. So I've just gained like a meter square space.
It's that large?
Sorry,
Was it that large?
it was huge. It was huge. Yeah, yeah. The thing is, though, I didn't throw away all of the bits from the cat tree. There, I've kept some of the I've kept some, like we're saying, keeping things. I've kept some of the platforms. Right, actually, let me get one of them. I'll show you.
Okay, see, Q the DM has joined the chat. Hi.
Okay, so this is from my cat tree, right?
Uh-huh.
But look at that.
It's a
To me,
cloud giant fortress.
well, it could just like, I mean, automatically, like I can just like I'll take all of this stuff off, just glue some bricks around the inside and glue some tiles in the middle, and you've got a dungeon room.
Yeah, pretty much.
I've got 3 of these, so I could do one with like tiles, dungeon tiles, one up like a tavern. It could be a tavern as well. So then I've got like 3 pieces that I can just plunk on the table for games. That's sturdy, store under the bed.
Nice.
So
You've really taken to crafting and gaming, because you haven't been actually gaming for a very long time, have you?
no, like the truth is, like I have only played D&D on tabletop, and it was very brief, and it was once.
Oh.
I haven't done any SBG. I haven't actually had the opportunity to do the actual gaming. I've just been building stuff, and it's all hoping that I can do it at some point.
Yeah, I mean,
So
it's one of those things. I'm more of a. I've always been more of a collector than a gamer, even when I was playing regularly. So I know what you mean, but yeah.
well, so we've got a D&D party. There's 6 of us, and that last piece of terrain that I made, the island one, all of the guys are like, because I want to get rid of that. Like, I want to sell
The
it or
island
get
one, which one? The last
the
board you
one
made, you
that
mean?
went disastrously wrong.
That didn't go disastrously wrong. Come on.
The build itself has turned out okay, but like, yeah, the process wasn't so great. But yeah, those guys really want to play on that, so we'll do a campaign on that before I give it away or try and get a shop like a gaming store to buy it.
I mean, it's always nice to see your terrain being used. It's
Yeah.
very satisfying.
The thing is, I kind of just enjoy the process of the whole thing, like making the stuff, but I kind of get a bit sentimental about it once I've made it. I'm like, just like, oh, I don't want to give it away. I don't want to throw it away. So I've got all of this stuff sitting on shelves now that like it's just taking up space.
I mean, I see it from a different point of view. I mean, like once the challenge of building it is done.
Yep.
Okay, it's time to move on to the next thing. I mean, I'm still happy I did it, but I'm not particularly attached to them.
Yep. I mean, but it's just the actual process of doing something. It's like something to do with your hands, something to occupy your brain.
Oh yeah.
Just like sitting, like I don't know what I was chatting to Lucy yesterday about like if I wasn't doing all these builds and wasn't
Hmm.
making YouTube videos, what would I be doing? And I'm like, well,
To be
very little.
to be honest, I mean, it's not like you're short of hobbies. I mean, you're a musician as well, yeah.
Yeah, but I honestly I'm kind of very much over the music at the minute. Like
No,
a bit jaded about music, to be honest. Like
how come?
that's just 20 years of just
Yeah,
like being
that's a
in
long
a
time.
band and sorry.
That 20 years is a long time.
Yeah, just 20 years of like being in a band. Like it's weird. Like with music, it got to the point where if you sat down to try and write something in the guitar, you were never just like playing it or writing for fun. It was for the band, or
Okay.
you had to write a song, and then you have to write a song that's people are going to like. Da da da
You got
da
you, yeah.
da da da. Just a long list of stuff, and it's just oh exhausting. Like there were patches of time where it was like absolutely awesome. Mostly whenever I was a lot younger and smoking loads of weed. So
Yeah, that helps. But I see what you mean. It's kind of turned into a job kind of thing, yeah.
yeah, it got a bit jobby, and I mean, I just like I've been in like quite a few bands, and every single one of them, the same thing happens, which is you all start you really enjoy the beginning process and like everyone's on the same page and it's all about the music and stuff, but then
Uh-huh.
gradually it just becomes about things that you have to do,
Yeah.
like a whole bunch of stuff that you have to do to try and get noticed, like in the music industry, or just like it's just like, oh, can we not just play music and just have fun? You know what I mean?
Yeah. It's like it becomes like, yep, and now we have to do the paperwork.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And also like getting older, family, like going out and doing gigs all the
Oh,
time.
yeah, there's that as well. Yeah, I imagine.
It's just not. So like for me, this has been the perfect crossover transition thing because you get to be creative. There's just a drive to do something creative all of the
Hmm.
time. And like the reason why I've been enjoying crafting so much and also the YouTube videos is you kind of don't have anyone to like you basically just do exactly what you want. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
It's like,
except
well, I
unless
like it.
except in your case where you have the young artistic director dictating the bridge build. I
The
mean,
bridge build. Well, that's
that was
slightly
a really
different.
sweet video, man.
It's fun to make stuff for her for sure, man.
I can imagine.
And like to be honest, I might get her to come up with more ideas because if you're going through a creator's block, just chat to a toddler. Grand.
I'm pretty sure it's good for her as well. I mean, like, get her to exercise her imagination.
Absolutely, man.
I see Cross and Robert have joined the stream. Hey guys.
Hello.
So,
And Cross apparently is also doing the guild build,
yay!
according to last night, which is great.
Yeah, I mean, I what I'm really looking forward to is seeing how Cross's city terrain evolves, because that's
Yeah,
going to
that's
be
really come
a
together.
massive project.
Yep, I've seen there's a building there coming together now. It looks really good. The brickwork around the edges of that, all of that looks awesome. And actually, I've seen like I mean I know lots of people have been using individual bricks, but recently like I've seen a few people doing it again, and I'm just like, you know what? Maybe I will sit down and do a build with lots of bricks because
I
I've just kind of taken to carving the texture in. So
I've actually made a batch of individual bricks. I actually sat down and figured out a way to cut them easily, and now I have a whole batch of them. I'm like, do I really want to glue these? No, no, I do not want to glue these. I'm just going to carve the bricks.
yeah, I mean the thing is that like carving the bricks though does like if you're going to do it to try and get an close to that level of detail, like where you're pushing foam in, you're pushing bricks in and you're texturing them all. It takes a long time as well, you know.
It does,
So
but
both ways take
it does take a long time. But at the same time, I'm like, I find it kind of relaxing,
therapeutic.
very relaxing, therapeutic. Yeah, that's the word.
Yep, I agree with you. Like I like that as well.
But yeah, if we did not have crafting, I'm pretty sure we'd be watching more Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, well, I mean that's what I was like that's what I was saying to to Lucy the other day because I mean basically like we have been chatting about like well how feasible in the long term is doing what I'm doing YouTube really like because it does take a lot of time away from the family you know and also like resources like we like putting money into and also like it's not without its stresses you know so the idea like we're just chatting yesterday is like well how long are we going to like keep doing this like
Yeah, I guess
and
what you
then
mean.
Lucy's just like well what would you do if you didn't do this and part of me is like well Netflix and chill you know I mean maybe make like I mean obviously I wouldn't stop crafting but just carry on
Just crafting for yourself, kind of thing.
yeah and like maybe post pictures up on Instagram every now and again it's the bit that's hard is making a video like filming the whole entire process and then piecing it together and then you've got to choose well am I going to do like a tutorial or am I going to do try and make a story around this
Yeah, I get
all of
what you
these
mean. I see. Dean Painsting said, "Do we have a hashtag for the guild build?" I don't think so, but I think we should. That's a good idea.
yeah we should definitely have a hashtag for the guild build that's a great idea
Okay.
hashtag the guild build
Jack Grimble joined in.
I mean
I
are you on the Tabletop Crafters Guild, Dean? That because that's where it's really being hosted on Facebook. If you're not on the Tabletop Crafters Guild, you can join on there. And yeah, it's a cool place. Mini painters are welcome as well, of course.
Okay. Tree number one ready. Yeah, that's going to help.
But like to be honest, like I think I just need to carry on doing what I'm doing. And yeah, I guess I think maybe my head went through a little bit of a funky stage recently with making videos and YouTube and like doing builds all of the time,
You did
which I
set
know has
a very
happened.
high bar for yourself. I mean, with your stop motions and stuff and whatever that, you did set up a very high bar for yourself.
Yeah, but I will do that again, that stuff. It's more just about what's the right balance of effort to reward and the amount of time that I put into it, or the amount of content that I put out. Um, and also just like general things like seasonal blues and stuff like that. They're like, I mean, just before Christmas, Zane did a little video about, that he'd gone through a little patch of that, and then building just something simpler and taking it easier. And then right now he's working on an absolute kick-ass build.
He is, yeah.
So he's coming back from that like super strong. So you kind of have to reset sometimes, and
totally agree with that.
Yeah. So I mean, like, I'm not short of builds that I can make. Like right now, there are 2 builds that I want to make, and they're both pretty big. And it's not that I can't do them. I can totally do them. I know how to build them in my head. But it's just that, like, okay, getting started. Once I get started, then I know for like the next month and a half, my kitchen table is going to be covered in stuff in a project, and it's just and then like filming it and it's like, oh, okay, this is another little mountain to climb. Yeah, so every time you decide to do a video that is a big build and you're going to try and make a video out of it, it's like, okay, this is got to be done. It's got to be done right, and it's a big commitment.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes it's even the little stuff, like I'm planning out this 10mm scale table, and I know that to do that I'll need to cut up some plywood. I've got the plywood over there. It's been sitting there for some time. I just need to get up and get the tools and cut it, and that's like, getting the tools out of their boxes. I can just mess around with foam and the wire here and be happy,
Yeah,
but it will
like
get done eventually.
In terms of the actual enjoyment of the hobby at the minute, the thing that I'm enjoying the most is just like little crafting hangouts like this, what we're doing right now. Yeah. And last night with Zane, Colin, and Daniel, like, I had an absolute blast.
Last night was great. That was
great, man. And all I'm doing whenever I'm hanging out in those scenarios is like, right now I'm carving little bits of wood, like, you know what I mean? Yeah. And that will go to the build and stuff, but it's just so much more fun. Like, this is the hobby to me, like hanging out with someone, making something, chatting about it.
Yeah, I agree.
Whenever you're making a YouTube video, you're kind of doing it on your own quite a lot, and it does come slightly jobby-ish, even though you're kind of loving the build at the same time. So it comes and goes. It's to and fro.
Yeah, it's kind of weird in my case.
Does it sound like I'm having a good old moan?
No, it's good.
I hope not.
It's all good, man. High evolution of gaming. Highly win. So yeah, actually it's kind of funny for me because I'm mostly, if I'm painting, especially crafting, maybe not so much, but if I'm painting, for example, I like to be in solitary mode.
Yeah, like to be in what?
Like in a solitary mode. Like if I'm focusing on painting, I'm really not paying attention to anything else around me.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
But for crafting, yeah, this is really nice.
Yeah, I just saw Dean was saying there he's a crafter too. Okay, cool. Sorry, like it's just because I'd seen his the videos that he's posted. I thought that he was just like a mini painting guy, but so
yeah. But I mean,
I assume too much.
The Tabletop Crafters Guild is not picky about that. If you paint, if you do anything with craft related, you're welcome there.
Absolutely, yeah. It's a great space.
Be like Ivan Drago, do it for you. Tina Martins, that is a big reason I don't do YouTube. Yeah, especially knowing Tina, if she started to do YouTube, it would be like 36 videos a day.
Well, yeah. The like this is the thing is, so like whenever I've been asked quite a few times by people like about starting a YouTube channel and this sort of stuff. And it's hard to know what to say to people because obviously you don't want to be like negative about it because it's actually awesome. I love it. And it's a really good way of like expressing yourself and getting stuff out there, and you get to be part of a really cool community. You get loads of awesome feedback from people who are good at
True.
stuff, which
Yeah.
I've learned so much more. I've learned so much from the viewers of the videos,
Yep.
and from you guys in the Crazy Crafter community as well. Like I'm way better in that 1 year as a crafter, like because of all of those people.
No, I mean,
Like,
crafting apart, because you already had a good leg up on crafting, but your painting went.
but it's accelerated. That's the thing,
Yeah.
is that all of this, like, it's kind of like you're in crafting university, hanging with all of these people, like, and all of the professors are there, and you can access them at any point in time to ask them the right question. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
absolutely. I mean,
that's
like,
kind of the way I view it. It's like, you know, uh, I like mini painting is one example, but I feel like just building in general, like for me,
yeah, I
has
mean,
gotten
like,
so much better. So
Tabletop
if I didn't
Crafters
do
Guild and Foam Modeling Workshop, once you start talking to people, you will start picking up advice or just inspiration or stuff like that. It's going to happen.
exactly, so I mean, the thing is that, like, so I am kind of making YouTube tutorials and stuff, and I watch YouTube tutorials to learn how to do stuff all of the time. But the best learning that I've done is by hanging out with people and having conversations like this. Like, so much, like the off like Gerard Boom, for instance, like in this last year, the fact that I've been able to hang out with him, the fact that we did a project together, that was probably like some of the biggest leaps forward for me in terms of what I was actually able to do. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So all of that wouldn't exist without a YouTube channel.
Yeah,
So
fair enough.
going back to what I was saying is, yeah, it's for all of those reasons, it's absolutely amazing. So, but then when people ask me about starting a YouTube channel, I'm like, kind of want to impress upon them that, like, it's really hard. Like, maybe other people find it really easy. I don't know, but I have not found it really easy. It's not been really easy at all.
I
Like,
think
you
it depends
like
more on what you're
stay
looking
up late.
to get out of it.
Yeah, but I mean, you're doing like, you're staying up late to edit your videos, like 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning sometimes, or like, I'm trying to get to bed much earlier than I was, but the period of time where I was like trying to get videos out like once a week or like every so often like that,
Uh-huh.
I was putting myself, like, I was like really burning myself out, and I had a kind of idea that, like, oh, when the channel explodes, then it'll all get a little bit easier. But then you realize that, like, the explosion probably isn't necessarily going to happen, you know,
Yeah, I mean, your channel
like
grew
in that
very
way.
quickly, and you still had a lot of work to do
Oh,
once
100%.
after it grew.
Oh, I'm not complaining about that at all. I'm really, really happy with the growth of the channel. It's amazing. Like, still blows my mind. But then you look at, like this time last year, or maybe just before Christmas, like about a year and a couple of months ago, north of the border, for instance, who
Hmm.
is just incredible. Like, so he deserves
Yeah.
his explosion. But he's like, we were kind of sitting around about 1,000 subscribers ish each, roughly around there. And he's now at 300,000 or something, like 200 and something thousand. I'm just like that's just like, wow, that's unbelievable.
Yeah, but again, north of the border, I think he definitely earned every single one of those subscriptions.
Well, he's just like pure artistic talent. Like, so yeah, like his sculpting is amazing. And like, sculpting is something that, you know, I think anyone can learn to do this foam crafting stuff that we do, like, and build buildings if you're good with angles and stuff like that. I mean, at the end of the day, we're basically piecing together triangles and squares
Yep.
and then texturing it. Do you know what I mean? That's kind of what we're doing. Whereas north of the border is like, I mean, a real artist, like sculptor, pretty mind blowing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, organics are, regardless of whatever medium, organics are always going to be a lot more difficult than
Camera's
buildings or.
shaking again. I'm just gonna move it
Yeah, you
down.
are looking at dodgy again. Stop playing with your wood out of frame.
Yeah, stop playing with your wood, Michael. Yeah.
So yesterday in Colin's stream, we also had a bit of a discussion in the chat about TV shows.
TV shows, yeah.
Yeah, particularly the Wheel of Time. I think a number of people felt very strongly about that, myself included.
I still haven't even. My wife watches it, but I still haven't tried it. I think I'd like it, but I'm not sure.
Let's put it this way: if you've read the books, you probably won't like it.
Okay, well, I haven't read the books, so maybe I will.
I watched all the episodes. I enjoyed the scenery. The acting is very good, but the writing is terribly disappointing.
Okay. See, this is like I'm wondering where they're going to go with the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, that's what I wanted
Amazon
to ask you
series
about.
as
Yeah.
well.
How are you feeling about it? Hopeful, scared, terrified?
I think some of my fears have been alleviated by some news that I've heard. Like, I'm kind of hopeful. I think I'm definitely going to delve into it, and I think that if it's produced well, I think there's a good chance that I'll get hooked by it. Like, um, I'm going to be quite forgiving about the fact that it's not going to be perfect lore and stuff like that.
But again, I mean, the time period they picked in the lore is perfect because there isn't much about it. It's only painted in very broad strokes, so they can fill whatever they like.
Exactly. So, as long as the writing is good and the acting is good, like, yeah, looking forward to it. The kind of things that people are complaining about, I think, are really
What's it?
silly things to complain about. Like, and like, I wouldn't even want to get into them. Like, but people are a bit close-minded, I think.
No idea.
I think it'll be great. There we go. I've said it. I think it'll be great. I'm gonna be positive about it and say, like, I actually can't wait to have like a whole new world to kind of get stuck into. Well, it's not a whole new world, but like a whole set of things to get stuck into, crafting projects that could be built in there.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
I saw a discussion on one of the Middle Earth SPG gaming Facebook groups saying, I wonder if they're going to release new miniatures and stuff, which would be cool. Like, we could always, but maybe like, but there's a whole section of like these communities, like one side of people going like, oh yeah, it's going to be great. And the other side's going like, no, it's terrible. This is going to be the worst thing ever. I just want to be friends with everybody, guys.
The thing with Lord of the Rings has been very interesting because, let's put it this way, I'm old enough to remember the pre-Peter Jackson era, the time before time, basically.
Oh, me too, man. Me too. Like, I mean, because like basically in our family we were brought up on the Lord of the Rings, so I've got like. I've got memories of like a very small child, like sitting and listening to the Lord of the Rings being read but like beside the fire. You know what I mean? So, and like the Ralph Bakshi movies.
Yeah, that was some time ago.
I still love them, man. Like I loved the Ralph Bakshi movie, and like.
I'm only pissed they never actually finished the whole thing.
You never watched the whole thing?
I think it doesn't the Ralph Bakshi movies never actually get to the end of Return of the King. Yeah.
Yeah, correct. They finish it with Theoden's charge. Like I believe just before in Minas Tirith, isn't it?
I think so. Yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah.
But yeah, the thing is that it's kind of weird how things have gone around in circles because obviously when you get stuff like Dungeons and Dragons and Warhammer and whatever, they were heavily inspired by Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Where they weren't actually pulling stuff, just copying it straight up. And then when you get to the Peter Jackson movies, they're, I want to say, heavily inspired by the Warhammer aesthetic,
Oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, like if you look at the Mines of Moria and stuff like that, it does look a lot like dwarven architecture. It's pretty close to what you would find in World of Warcraft, for example, which is also very heavily inspired by that. It's kind of funny how it keeps going around in circles. Because first you had.
Well, to me, I mean, Peter Jackson's stuff to me, like, because like I was saying, whenever we were kids, we were brought up on Lord of the Rings. We had like picture books of like artists,
Yeah.
John Howe and all of those sorts of guys who did drawings. And to me, the Peter Jackson movies basically looks like the artwork in those books. You know what I mean?
Yes and no. I mean, because let's put it this way: it's the classic artwork. I think is a lot more fantasy than what actually came out in the movies.
Yeah.
Because the movies do have a kind of a gritty feel to it. It's not high
Yep.
fantasy, all rainbows and unicorn farts,
Yep.
which is good. I mean, that's a very good look for Lord of the Rings.
Yeah. I mean, like going back to the Amazon one, I mean, they've got an amazing budget for it. So, like, I think there's a great chance it's going to look amazing.
Uh, it will definitely look amazing. The thing is that, again, for example, if and that's one thing that worried me about Wheel of Time because they had a decent budget. You get some scenes where the special effects, I think they could have used a little more time.
Yeah.
They were definitely going in the right direction, but the special effects were, it's like, yeah, I think they were kind of rushed. So, let's put it this way, it has potential, but I wouldn't rely on the fact that it has a good budget to say, okay, this is definitely going to be great.
See,
I
like,
just don't want to be hurt again.
I don't want to be, I don't want to be hurt again. Well, I mean, like the way you were whenever The Hobbit came out.
We do not talk about that.
I watched it last night, man. I watched it, Desolation of Smog last night, and I mean, I still like it. It doesn't. Am I making you? Am I making you sad?
Yes, you are. It's like The Hobbit was. I'd also say it's a terrible movie because I think if you take all three movies and remove about 2/3 of them,
Yeah.
you get left with a pretty decent movie. But I remember
Did
watching.
you?
Yeah, you were saying?
I just on that. If you like, there was a guy who did an edit of all three of the movies, and he made it like that. It kind of was a really close representation of the books.
Okay.
Yeah, but I can't find it anymore. I think it's been deleted. Like
I
he
would
was
imagine so. Yeah.
he was giving it away for free. He basically did an edit and but like because in the book, like say for instance the Battle of the Five Armies, right?
Mm-hmm.
Bilbo doesn't participate in the battle. He
No,
basically
he gets knocked out right at the beginning. Yeah.
he gets knocked out and then wakes up after the battle's done and like the whole thing's finished. So the battle doesn't even really happen in the books.
Yeah.
It's kind
Just
of like,
fade to black, and then he wakes up when Gandalf
and then
finds
you
him.
wake up and the battle's finished. So the movie took a whole lot of liberties in that department,
Yeah.
you know. But I guess I'm just enjoying it because like I want to live in Middle Earth
Yeah,
basically
that's a good
and
point.
run around with swords and that's I'm just like, okay, so here's just a random offshoot. I've been thinking about alternative realities. Do you know like parallel universes?
Okay. Yeah.
So there's like some quantum physics science on parallel universes that there's an infinite number of universes all parallel existence at the same time
Okay.
where and in all of these different universes there's a version of you doing something else, right? You heard about this before?
Yep.
Of course. So that means that there is a parallel universe where we all kind of live in a Middle Earth kind of way
Yeah, possibly. Yeah.
with swords and stuff like that there. So I'm just like, okay, that gives me some peace that like at least in some parallel universe somewhere I'm in Mordor, fighting.
Possibly in a parallel universe, there's a dwarf barbarian playing you, for example, sitting at the table
Exactly.
crafting.
Exactly.
Make a craft roll.
Yeah.
No, actually, the first time I was introduced to the multiverse theory was reading Michael Moorcock, uh,
Like Murray, yeah.
the Eternal Champion series. I think I read it when I was possibly too young to be supposed to have read that, because it's not
Yeah.
really for children. But yeah, I
I
think
mean,
I was about 12, and I was like, "Shit, this is awesome."
it is pretty awesome, like the theories and stuff. But then like you get into it, and your brain's like going like, oh wow, what if all of this is true? And then it's just like, well, what if is it? What if it is true? Like, it doesn't really change your
No, it
reality,
doesn't. Yeah.
does it? Like, you're still stuck doing what you're doing. So yes, you might have a really exciting life in a parallel universe.
But doesn't really
You know,
changes when you.
doesn't change anything really, does it? So. But yeah, I haven't really read anything on it. My brother's a super science nerd. He's like PhD in astrophysics and quantum
Ooh.
mechanics. Like, so, like all of that stuff I've heard him talking about, and it's like, wow, yeah, that's cool. You're a nerd.
Be nice to your brother.
We're both nerds in totally different ways.
That's all good.
Yeah, but I'm just putting this down here again, just while the camera's shaking. I just don't want it to look weird on camera if anyone comes into the stream. I had this one, like there was one stream that we did where I was shaking my Agrax Earthshade beneath the table, and Zane screenshotted the video and sent it to me, and like it's literally just me, like this here. And I'm just like, oh my goodness, I've just done it again.
Uh, no, I remember watching. I think it was Steve Ramsey woodworking for Mere Mortals,
Yep.
and it was like, okay, now guys, if any of you are ever going to start a YouTube channel and you ever need to shake spray paint on screen, this is the way you do it.
In front of the
In
camera.
front of the camera and from side to side. Never do this.
Yep.
Yeah. Wisdom of the ages.
Sorry?
I said the wisdom of the ages.
Sorry, I still didn't catch that.
I said wisdom of the ages.
Wisdom of the ages.
Yeah,
Yeah.
ancient lore.
Cross is saying yes, he's agreeing. Moorcock is my favorite author and has been since I was 13.
Yeah, I mean, he is kind of.
I like Zane's one. What if there's a universe where we lived in the terrain that we're making? That's pretty cool.
Yeah, that might be a problem because some of my terrain is full of spiders. Actually, they just moved in and I don't have the heart to throw them out. I mean, like, I like spiders.
So, just before the stream, do you? I'm sure you do. You know Shadiversity YouTube
Yeah, yeah.
channel. So I've been watching some Shadiversity this afternoon. He was talking about what it was like to live back in the medieval times in the Middle Ages,
Mm-hmm.
and like we got a lot of misconceptions about what it would have been like to be in society at that time.
We do, yeah.
So he was saying now, like I'm using him as my source, so I don't know how true all of this is, but like your diet, for instance, like the upper echelons of society, for instance, they would have been eating white bread, like that was really refined flours and
Mm-hmm.
stuff. But then the poorer people would have been eating wholemeal bread because less effort was going
Yep.
into processing the wheat. So they were actually the poorer sections of society were often eating much healthier food than the upper echelons of
Yes
society.
and no, but then again, I also remember that the lower ranks of society were also taking in much less protein, and we're talking
Much less protein. Yeah,
we're
they wouldn't have had access to as much meat.
No, yeah, definitely, and that's actually enough to make a visible difference in the skeletal remains.
Yeah.
I think in a
But
couple of yes,
I
sir.
mean, if you had access to water, you had access to fish, right?
Yes and no, but it takes more time to let's put it this way. You need to catch fish in enough quantities to get that.
Yeah, that's true.
Besides, if I'm not sure about, I'm not sure if fishing had the same restrictions as hunting. It's like, nope, this is my land. You do not hunt on it.
Yeah, exactly. Or killing the queen's deers or whatever.
Yep. Yeah, that's a hanging offense. Uh,
Um, he did say something that was a bit disappointing. He was saying in Lord of the Rings, for instance, taters, they wouldn't have been eating taters. There was no such thing as potatoes in like in
yeah,
Middle England
true.
at that time, which is like actually a good point because it was that those were brought over from South America
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of stuff that
later.
we wouldn't have had in the Middle Ages. But yeah, I mean, like stuff like that. For example, the diet. I think in a couple of weeks when Frank was over to talk about his book, and
Yeah.
we're having a live question and answer. So any questions are welcome. Just drop them in a comment or something. I'll try to pick them up. But yeah, I mean, their diet, the diet of the upper class, does make a marked physical difference in the even in the remains.
Yeah. Also, the access to um, what was it? Water. That's why everyone was drinking loads of alcohol all of the time.
I think that's that's slightly overstated.
You think so?
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I mean,
Okay.
especially in the north, for example, ale and beer are a good source of calories.
Yep.
It's nothing to do
100%.
with the water.
Meal in a glass.
Yeah, pretty much. And again, if I remember correctly, the alcoholic content would have been lower than it is today.
Oh, really? I've been living under the impression that it would have been quite strong.
Mm.
Like that's why I've always thought it was just like, oh, the ale back then was probably like would have killed you.
No, not really. Again, for example, what would have been stronger might have been the wine.
The wine.
Yeah, yeah. Because again, I mean, going back to even further back, for example, ancient Rome and ancient Greece, the wine was typically diluted. So you had to
Right,
put
yeah.
water in your wine to to put it down.
You've said the word wine, and all I want now is a glass of wine. That might have to happen this evening.
Yeah, I mean, we're getting close to the hour here, so I think we might want to wrap up soon. How's your pillar making going?
I've managed to get 5 little pillars. I'm on the 6th now, and that's what I need. I need 6 for these little buildings,
No.
and I've done 2 with. So I'm taking this hole
Mm-hmm.
punch thing. It's like and I'm just doing putting a grain into it as well. So basically, this is just so that like these are going in the front of the buildings like
Mm-hmm.
that, and I just want them because like I think if it was foam, they would just like
Yeah,
do the wrong
right
thing
away.
and you'd
Boom.
snap it. So little wooden pillars and a cool chat at the same time.
Yeah, I managed to get 3 trees. The frames basically anyway. So
So are you going to be streaming every week now, Carl?
uh, most weeks, I guess.
That's cool.
Yeah, I know if I can find someone to hang out, definitely welcome.
Oh man, thanks very much for having me on. It's been great.
Oh, it's been a pleasure. It's a good
Thi-
chat.
This has been this week's been I've had done 3 streams this week. One with Elston on Thursday last night, and then this one. So this next week, I'm probably gonna have to wash a lot of dishes because, like, my wife has been very kind to let me take 3 evenings out for streams, which is great.
Sorry about
So,
that. That it was an unexpected
oh no,
side
don't
effect.
apologize, man. Like, it's great. Like, it's kind of perfect for me, man. I enjoy it.
Okay, guys, I think we're going to wrap up now. Thanks for being here, Mike.
Thank you, man.
And
Thanks for
thanks
having me.
everyone for watching. See ya.
Bye.